Today, we're going to delve deeper into learning 5 habits that dramatically changed my life in just 1 week. Yes, you heard that right. In just 7 days. That may look too optimistic to be true, but I want to assure you that these aren't just standard recommendations. These are sincere and practical habits that anyone can implement into their daily routine. I've been through many challenges, experienced moments of breakthroughs and triumphs, and the transformation I've experienced has been truly amazing. I look forward to sharing these discoveries with you as they have greatly impacted my life. Whether you're looking to increase your productivity, improve your psycho-emotional well-being, or make positive changes in your daily life, these habits can help you do just that. So, get comfortable, and let's dive into the bottom line. Stay until the end, because these habits aren't just theoretical concepts. They're real, actionable steps you can start implementing today. I'll also share personal stories and reflections on how these habits have changed my outlook on life and helped me get through tough times. So, let's get started right now. Habit 1. Getting up early. The first habit that started to drastically change my life was waking up in the morning. I've never been a lark. My bed seemed to be my best friend, and I hit the delayed alarm button more times than I could count. Mornings were always chaotic and rushed, and I often felt like I was starting the day on the wrong note. However, I decided to make a change and started getting up earlier, and honestly, it really turned my life around. I started by setting my alarm for 5 a.m. The first few days were a real challenge. I remember struggling to get out of bed, feeling sleepy and wondering if it was worth it. But I didn't give up, and on the 3rd day something amazing happened. I began to appreciate the peace and quiet of the morning hours. Getting up earlier than everyone else was almost magical. The world around me was quiet and peaceful. With the extra time, I gained the ability to do things that I hadn't had the energy to do before. I would start my mornings with light physical activity, nothing complicated, just stretching or a quick jog around the neighborhood. This not only woke me up, but energized me for the day. I also took time to meditate and formulate intentions for the day ahead. These moments of mindfulness greatly improved my mood and productivity. Another nice bonus of rising early was that I stopped feeling rushed. I had plenty of time to enjoy a healthy breakfast, leisurely sip my coffee, and carefully plan my day. This leisurely start set a positive tone for the rest of the day. I became more organized, less stressed, and felt like I had better control over my time. One of the highlights was the morning I watched the sunrise from my balcony. This simple but incredibly beautiful sight filled me with a sense of gratitude and peace. As the sky changed colors and the world slowly awakened, I realized the true power of waking up early. Of course, early rising may not work for everyone, but I highly recommend trying it for at least a week. Start by getting up 15 minutes earlier than usual and gradually increase that time. You may be surprised at how much of a positive impact this will have on your life. It's not just about adding hours to your day, it's about using them to create a more meaningful, purposeful, and fulfilling start. As the great Marcus Aurelius said, "As you wake up in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Waking up early can be the key to a more meaningful and productive life. It opens up new opportunities for self-improvement and allows you to start the day with a clear head and a positive attitude. Habit 2. Daily exercise. When it comes to working out, daily exercise was the second habit that changed my life dramatically. In fact, I've never really been known for increased activity. I used to find plenty of excuses to avoid working out. Sound familiar? I'm too tired. I don't have time. Or I'll start on Monday. But one day I decided it was time for a change. I promised myself to exercise every day for a week, and the results were amazing. I started my journey to an active life with simple steps, just 15 minutes a day. I chose a variety of physical activities, from light warm-ups to dancing to walking outdoors. The main goal was to make each workout fun, so that I wouldn't lose interest or abandon the activity. The first few days were a real challenge. My muscles protested, and fatigue covered me like a heavy blanket. But I kept reminding myself why I was doing it, to improve my overall condition and energy level. On the third day, something amazing happened. I woke up feeling light and invigorated, as if the world around me was brighter. My mood improved, and I noticed that I became less irritable over nothing. Those 15 minutes of physical activity became a sacred time for me to focus on myself, de-stress, and boost my endorphins. One day, as I was getting ready for my morning run, I felt a jolt of excitement. The day was sunny and fresh, and the air was filled with lightness. As I ran, I felt an incredible sense of freedom and clarity that I hadn't experienced in a long time. I was running through deserted streets, and that feeling of being one with nature was inspiring. Over time, I began to notice changes in my body. My posture improved, my muscles strengthened, and my overall fitness improved noticeably. Most significant, however, was the change in my perception. Exercise went from being a chore to an opportunity to disconnect from the outside world and focus on myself. One of the highlights of this journey was my first dance class. At first, I was hesitant to try it, thinking that I didn't have the necessary skills. But after a few lessons, I was amazed. Dancing taught me how to be in the moment, trust my body, and express my emotions. It was not only a physical, but also an emotional experience that enriched my life. Now, practicing sports has become a real pleasure for me, not just an obligation. I have found in them a way of taking care of myself that brings joy and inspiration. Every day becomes a new opportunity for self-expression and growth, and I look forward to seeing what else awaits me along the way. It wasn't just a physical experience, it was transformational. By incorporating regular exercise into my life, I realized that taking care of my body has a direct impact on my mental health and overall happiness. It's not about being perfect or achieving extreme results. It's important to find the type of activity you enjoy and make it a part of your life. Poor is not he who has little, but he who longs for more. Seneca. If you are struggling to get started, my advice is to start small. Find something you enjoy. Dancing, hiking, or even a brisk walk. Take just a few minutes a day and gradually increase the time. I assure you, the results will exceed all expectations. This habit will change not only your body, but also your perception of life in general. Habit 3. Journaling. I used to think that journaling was an activity for those with unlimited free time or for those who love deep introspection. I was skeptical and thought, who needs to write about their day when life is so hectic? But 1 week of regular journaling completely changed my perception, and it has become an important part of my personal growth. I started with simple steps. Every night before I went to bed, I set aside just 10 minutes to write down my thoughts. I bought a regular notebook and a pen that was comfortable in my hand. No complicated apps, no pressure to write beautifully, just me and my thoughts. The first night I sat in front of a blank page, not knowing where to start. But soon I decided to simply describe my day, what made me happy, and what caused difficulties. With each new day, I dived deeper and deeper. I started writing down my dreams, fears, and even insecurities. It was like having a conversation with myself, and in that moment, something amazing happened. I noticed patterns in my thoughts and feelings, realizing that some problems were beyond my control and others were within my power was a real revelation to me. One evening, after a particularly stressful day at work, I was writing down my emotions and experiences. By putting my thoughts on paper, I was better able to deal with the feelings that were plaguing me. This reflection helped me gain clarity and confidence in how to respond to similar situations in the future. Another important aspect of journaling was keeping track of my progress. I wrote down small victories and accomplishments, even if they seemed insignificant. Looking back on these entries gave me a sense of satisfaction and motivation to keep moving forward. For example, I described my experiences before an important public presentation and the steps I took to prepare. Seeing how I worked on myself and achieved a positive outcome was incredibly inspiring. I also set aside a section for gratitude in my journal. Each night I wrote down 3 things I was grateful for. This practice shifted the focus from lack to being able to appreciate what I already have. It's a simple but profound shift that filled my life with positivity. I once described a random act of kindness that struck me. I was running late at the store, and a stranger helped me carry my heavy bags to my car. Writing this moment down not only made me feel grateful, but I decided that I wanted to do good for others too. Keeping a diary helped me learn a lot about myself, my desires, fears, and strengths. It became a kind of therapy, a way to unravel complex thoughts and emotions. I gained a safe space where I could be honest with myself without fear of judgment. If you've never tried journaling, I highly encourage you to start. Don't worry about writing perfectly or having deep thoughts. Just write down anything that comes to mind, whether it's a stream of consciousness, a brief overview of the day, or a reflection on an event. Give yourself the freedom to express whatever you're feeling. You may be surprised at how much clarity and peace of mind this will bring to your life. Remember, it's not about what you write, it's about the writing process itself. As Epictetus said, how long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? This question encourages us to act without procrastination. Each of us deserves to strive for the best, whether in our personal lives, careers, or self-improvement. Don't wait for the perfect time to get started. Start today, one step at a time, and discover the opportunities that await you outside of your comfort zone. Your time is now. Habit 4. Mindful eating. Conscious eating has been a real eye-opener for me. Previously, I didn't pay much attention to what and how I was eating, often grabbing food on the go, barely noticing what was happening. My meals turned into quick snacks in front of a screen, where I didn't pay attention to the flavor or texture of the food. But one day, I decided to try mindful eating for a week, and it changed everything. I started with simple steps. Every time I sat down at my desk, I turned off my phone, turned off the TV, and removed all distractions. After creating a cozy atmosphere, I made myself comfortable and took a few deep breaths to focus on the moment. It was a little unaccustomed, but soon turned into a calming ritual. The first thing I noticed was how much I began to enjoy my food. As I carefully tasted each bite, I began to notice flavors and textures that had previously passed me by. For example, one time I was making a fresh vegetable salad. Instead of just popping it in my mouth, I slowly tasted each ingredient: crunchy cucumbers, sweet tomatoes, spicy basil. It was like discovering a new world of flavors. Each day I felt more satisfied after eating. Before, I used to often overeat without noticing how quickly I was eating a portion. Now, by eating consciously, I started to listen more closely to my body's signals. I've noticed that when I'm really focused on eating, it only takes less for me to feel satiated. One of the most memorable moments came the morning I decided to make myself oatmeal. Normally, I would just pour it into a bowl and wash it down with a cup of coffee, but this time I sat down at the table focusing on every spoonful. I savored the creamy texture of the oatmeal and the sweetness I was able to achieve with the addition of honey. This simple act was a moment of gratitude that set a positive tone for the rest of the day. I also began to realize how different foods affected my well-being. For example, I noticed that I felt sluggish and tired after heavy and fatty foods. In contrast, after a light salad or fruit, I felt a surge of energy and clarity. This realization encouraged me to make healthier food choices, and I began to do so without feeling restricted. Additionally, I began to recognize my emotional connections to food. I noticed when I was eating out of boredom or stress rather than out of true hunger. One evening, after a long day at work, I had a craving for sweets. Instead of grabbing the chocolate, I stopped and wondered, was I really hungry or just looking for comfort? Realizing I wasn't hungry, I opted for a cup of warm herbal tea. It was a small victory that showed me how mindful eating can be. Implementing mindful eating into my life has been a transformative experience. I developed a healthier relationship with food, improved my digestion, and increased my overall sense of well-being. This habit has stayed with me beyond the first week, and I have no hesitation in recommending it to everyone. If you're interested in trying mindful eating, start with one mindful meal a day. Sit down without distractions, take a few deep breaths, and savor every bite. Notice the flavors and textures, and listen to your body. You'll be surprised how this simple practice can change your eating experience. It's a wonderful way to reconnect with yourself and truly appreciate the food you consume. Do not act as if you were destined to live forever. Marcus Aurelius. This quote reminds us of the importance of mindfulness in every moment of life. Begin to appreciate what you have and make choices that bring joy and fulfillment. Every moment is an opportunity to make a difference in yourself and your life. Don't put off for tomorrow what can make you happier today. Habit 5. Limiting screen time. Limiting screen time has become a real challenge for me. In our digital world, it's so easy to get lost in the endless streams of information, social media, and TV series. I noticed that it was affecting my mental health, productivity, and even my sleep quality. So I decided to set boundaries and see how it would change my life. I started by setting myself a limit of 1 hour of non-work screen time. This meant giving up completely on mindless social media scrolling, endless videos, and late-night TV shows. The first few days were a real challenge. I was so used to filling every spare minute with screens that I didn't know what to do. The first thing I noticed was the unexpected amount of free time I had. I didn't realize how much time was spent on screens until I started limiting them. With these extra hours, I rediscovered old hobbies. I picked up a book I'd been meaning to read for a long time, started drawing again, and even experimented with new recipes. One evening, instead of turning on the TV, I decided to take a walk in the park. The fresh air, sounds of nature and movement were a real revelation to me. Not only did this walk relieve stress, but it became an important part of my day, something I looked forward to. I've also noticed that the quality of my sleep has improved dramatically. I used to often take my phone to bed and scroll through social media until well into the night, which led to restlessness and poor sleep. By limiting screen time before bed, I began to fall asleep more easily. Instead, I started reading print books or meditating, which helped me relax and recover better. In addition, I experienced a positive change in my mental state. Without the constant stream of news and social media comparisons, I became less anxious and more focused. I began to listen better to the people around me, and this led to deeper and more meaningful interactions. One of the most memorable moments was when I spent an entire day in a cozy cafe with only a notepad and pen. I wrote down my thoughts, set goals, and even did a little drawing. It was such a peaceful and productive time, free from digital distractions. I felt more connected to myself and those around me. Sure, there were moments of temptation and disruption, but every time I reached for my phone, I reminded myself of the benefits I get from limiting screen time. It's not about eliminating technology completely, but creating a healthier balance in life. If you've ever felt overwhelmed or disconnected from reality, I recommend trying to set some screen time limits. Start small, maybe an hour a day less, and gradually increase. Use this time to reconnect with yourself, loved ones, and the world around you. You'll be surprised how much more fulfilling and rich your life can become when you step away from screens and interact more with the real world. At the sunset of this incredible journey of 5 habits that turned my life around in a short time, I realized that true power lies in simplicity and consistency. This experience has not only changed me, but has given me the opportunity to share it with you, my esteemed friends. Each of these habits is a drop that can transform your reality, and I believe that if they were able to change my life, they can make a difference in any other. If any of these ideas have energized you, I invite you to try them out for yourself. Start small, perhaps one habit, and see how it begins to change your world. Tailor them to your circumstances and needs. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about constant progress. Small changes can lead to significant results. Share your experiences in the comments. Tell us what habit you're already implementing or are ready to start today. Let's make our community unique and inspiring. If you liked the video and found it useful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give it a like. Share this video with your loved ones, friends. Who knows, maybe their lives will change for the better too because of these habits. Thank you for spending this time with us. And remember, small steps can lead to grand results. Let's keep moving forward, evolving, and turning our everyday moments into powerful steps toward self-improvement. You have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this, and you will gain power. Marcus Aurelius.